hey, it's time to renew your membership.
Uh-huh.
Click on this link. And I got one that didn't answer, 2 crickets. So then I sent another email that said, fine, you don't want to be a partner, then just go ahead and write the company and let them know everything can transfer underneath of me. One didn't reply, but the other one did, and I can re-up. It really does help to keep doing those. I sent 3 of those, 3 before I got a reply. And I thought I was being pesty. So I guess I'm not being pesty.
No, people are.
Yeah.
So Gwen, you said you sent the email. Is the email already set up somehow that we can send?
It was a text message that Stacy
Okay.
Turner had done. So I could put the verbiage in here for you guys and then you copy and paste.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's really nice and it's just short, sweet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
Hey, everybody. I have a quick question for everyone. I'm going to meet with a dentist tomorrow. And if anybody has any suggestions about what they'd do as a brief presentation, I have some ideas, but I just wanted to see what anybody else was thinking, if you want to put it in the chat or whatever, but I just thought I'd put that out there.
Go ahead. Jennifer wrote
To
too.
highlight the research done on dental health.
Yeah, I have the periodontal studies, so I was going to study that and then go over that, and also on inflammation. I thought about bringing that up too. And I mean, just really any of the studies builds confidence in how unique Juice Plus is, but for him in particular, I would think those would be good. But anybody has any other tips?
I think
that
it'll
would
be difficult to share on the spot. I mean, I don't know how it is where you are, but our doctors are kind of bam, 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 in and out.
Yeah.
And they got
Yeah.
things on their mind, you know?
Yeah.
And they usually have time blocked periods in the day where they hit their desk and they have journals and things like that. So I think what I've seen Sharon do in the past is like mention something, but then have like the journal printed for them.
I was in for a cleaning a couple of weeks ago, and so when the dentist comes in to check on you, I just said to him really quickly, I'm like, would you be interested in learning about a way to help that I've learned to help reduce inflammation, and maybe it could be helpful for your patients. If you have like 10 minutes, I'd love to go over some things with you. And so I set an appointment with him. So I'm going in tomorrow for this appointment. And I think might be good, but maybe you guys have some other ideas.
Jamie, have you heard the audio that Lou Gallego did? He did it for the Cortese group, and he worked with, he was a biomedical tech, so he worked with a lot of physicians, and he has a lot of physicians with him, and he has a great audio about how to approach doctors. And so I will, I'm so technical illiterate. Can I just,
You can
everything I can give you, I just give it to Doug on Messenger and let him figure out how to get it to everybody. So,
or you can text it to me. I don't know if you can like just hold your thumb over the link and
it's something about it says that the file is really big when I've tried to text it before, so I don't know how to cut it down.
Okay.
I can send it to your messenger.
Perfect. Thank you.
I want to add very quickly, when I share with mine, I have children. So what I used to get her attention was, doctor, do you know any gummies that doesn't give cavity? And also that gave me a way of knowing where she was at with gummies or not. But I have children, so that was my way in. Okay. And I told her, oh, I found one that doesn't have cavities and the benefits are incredible. It's just fruits and vegetables. And that opened the door to the conversation. And on my second visit, I have, like Douglas said, I brought a brochure with me and I left it on her desk. And I said, I know you're very busy, but at your time, because she has a child too. And when I came back 3 months later, she ordered. Okay. It's just the way of getting their attention and knowing.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, we're having an open forum for question and answer. You guys can ask each other questions right now. So I see one in the chat. You're welcome to say it out loud so the people on the live stream can hear it.
everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us.
Okay,
Hi, my name's Natalie. On the digital resources page, you know how they've provided us with some stories that you could post to your social media page?
Uh-huh.
Does anybody actually know how you save those videos? I can't figure it out.
Me either. I would love to know that too. I actually had someone send me the video because I was like, this is so good. Could you send it to me? And they had a hard time sending it via Facebook Messenger, but eventually it came through.
I had that same situation too with not being able to save it from Facebook. But when you go to the Juice Plus, the digital resources page, I don't know how to be able to save it to be able to use on my story.
I didn't realize they were actually videos. I thought they were just pictures that you.
It's like a live animated thing, like the
Oh.
one that I'm speaking of, like it shows the berries and it's kind of doing a little dance and moving around. It's probably a clip less than 10 seconds, but it's good to add to your stories if you'd like that for like Instagram or Facebook.
Should we try to go there and do it?
I wonder if you have to be on your phone. Maybe you were on your phone.
I tried both on my phone and my computer and I can't figure it out.
Is that one of those things where you would need the app to do the video recording of the screen on your phone? I see a lot of people like Ashley Hudson and Casey Schloss have those videos that roll through on their stories, and they actually record them on their phone and then they repost them. I wonder if that's what.
Oh.
Is it under
Yeah,
here?
I can tell you what that's called. The girl shared me the app, but I mean, if it's on the Juice Plus resources page, I would hope they would give us an easy way to turn it around and use it.
Yeah. Which one?
Do you see?
Keep scrolling down. Right there, go to shareables, go up and see any of those three purple ones. If you play on them, if you click on them, they'll start playing.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were pictures.
okay. Download. So I click the little three dots here. It says download. So then I would download it and then I would upload it, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to click the three dots to the right bottom.
I'm sorry, my phone cut out for like 15 seconds. What do I need to do?
Okay, we'll do it again. That way you guys definitely have it, right? Okay, so we'll go to the digital resources. So we're on insights.com, great website for you guys always to look at. We'll go to the second picture. And so see the picture? If I press on it, oh, that's just a picture. Okay, the first one was a video. All right, see how it's a video?
Okay.
Here are the three dots.
Okay.
Three dots. Download right here.
Yeah, I downloaded those on my phone, but I don't know how to take that download and have it go anywhere useful to be able to be implemented into my pictures.
And you go to your story, right?
Okay, so
Can you do story on the computer? You guys who are famous? How do you do story on the computer? Can you do it?
I don't think so.
No.
And Michelle's shaking yes.
Oh,
You can
Facebook.
do it on Facebook, but not on Instagram.
Right.
Do what?
You can do it on Facebook, but not on Instagram.
So did you see an option where I was? I didn't see
you don't want to go to your profile. You want to go to where you get the notifications, like that wall, and then you should be able to add.
So go home. And then go create a story.
Create a story.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. All right, so now I just click on this or I just move this. Can I just move it?
Click.
Now I have to find it on my computer. Okay, downloads. I've set it up on my computer. Who knows if it's here? But anyway, yeah, I have to find it. It takes forever probably.
It's not very MP4 right there.
Do you see it?
Yeah. Oh, you Now you moved.
What did I do? All right.
Disappeared.
I put in MP4, a lot of times things will show up. No. Okay, I see what you're saying. It
It
is.
said it was called Berry.mp4.
Yeah, my computer, I have a hard time. I need to work on that. Oh, yeah.
Bet you in the
You guys won't have that hard of a time, I'm sure.
there's a Facebook group that all they do is talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was recently added to it. So I was given the suggestion to ask today on the Lunch and Learn.
Okay,
So
so
should I ask the group?
now
really?
Facebook?
you do it. You download it to your photos or your computer, then you upload it to your story. That's it.
So it uploaded on your computer?
No, because I couldn't find it, but I know it's there. It would just take too long to, keep relaying
Yeah.
to everybody. Because I
Okay. Yeah, I've been able to download it. I haven't been able to get it onto my stories from the download part. So I'll try to figure it out.
story and then find it after that.
But not only that, Facebook only allows you to post 15 seconds. So if the video is 17 seconds, it's going to ask you that you need to shrink it. So then you'll have to manually do 15 seconds at a time. So then as people see it, then the video continues, if that makes sense. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, so let's go to a next question. Anybody? That one is only 5 seconds.
I had one.
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The family's been seeing a busy functional medicine type doctor that I really, really like. And so we're in there. Somebody's in there a lot. One of us. And, back at Christmas, I made like power balls, the protein balls, and took them off for the office. It's a small office, one man, one gal. But she has, receptionist. Took her protein balls and some samples and stuff. They were all very appreciative. Every time I go in, she's like, oh, I haven't watched that stuff you gave me, and I haven't looked at the stuff, but I really want to. So it's like pinning these busy people down, because this gal, I don't know how she does it. She's probably in her late 50s, and she works like from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's crazy. So suggestions on, how to pin her down. She was hesitant to give me her cell, which I get, so email, but it goes to the office. Anybody have thoughts?
Dr. Rick DeVois was trying to pin down a friend who was an internal medicine guy. And he finally said, what time do you leave the office? And the doctor told him, and he arrived 30 minutes before, unannounced. Now we're not Dr. Rick, so and you don't have that relationship with that doctor. But the end of the day is better than the middle of the day for very busy people. But you might ask, can I meet you right at the end of your day, and see, and just maybe however long, 15 minutes, whatever. But that's what Dr. Rick did. And of course he signed him up, right?
That's
Let's
awesome.
have Heather explain how to do the story. She knows.
Okay, let's finish with the doctor first. I think we're going to keep coming back to the doctor thing. Probably, I think people get excited about that. But let me see if we make sure we answer Janie. Janie, so the lady's super busy. You just say, it doesn't matter what time. I'd love to just have some time with you on Zoom or a phone call with my friend who could talk to you about how to maybe make some extra income for the office. Something like that. Or depending on the conversation, or who can share how this would benefit your patients based on research. So you make it like really like to their needs and something that would appeal to them, and just set an appointment. Because if you go in trying to present to somebody somehow having an appointment or a time for that, it doesn't work. You've got to talk to the people, then present when they have in their mind that you're presenting, you know? So does that help?
Oh, and another thing is Victor and I could be available to do a three-way with any of you guys, any doctors you want, anytime. Because when he had it going in his practice, he was a solo practitioner, and Victor he was all about charts and everything. So he changed his exit paperwork so that all he had to do was check a little box that said that let the receptionist know that that patient had asked about. We had the put placemats in each exam room. We had placemats, the framed placemats of all the fruits and veggies. We had them in the waiting room. So if he didn't get a chance to say something to them, most of the time the parents would say, "What's that, Dr. Payton?" And then he would just say, check with Gwen on the way out. And he just had a little box on his form that he checked that the receptionist would see, and she would send them over to my office. And that's how we built such a strong customer base when we first got started. But we can share more, but just know that we can be available if you have someone that you've gotten to that point.
So, I mean, number one with doctors, research. If you can bring in some applicable research or the research summary, labels, and chewable samples. Like Dr. Sirota, she orders them and loves giving those out. And, when I even saw a gastric bypass doctor and he got really excited, it was with the chewables. Like it's kind of really tangible. And, you can always tell them there's capsule also, but the chewables seem to work magic on a lot of people. Okay, so let's go to Heather. Back to Natalie's question. Oh, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I forgot I had myself on mute. Okay, so basically, there's two types of videos that some people use on their stories. Some of them are like actual videos. Those videos, you can do one of two ways. You can either, if you have an iPhone, you can screen record. And basically, so if you have an iPhone, it's one of the things where it's like, depending on which one you have, like what iPhone you have, it's either you swipe straight up or you swipe straight down, but it's to get to that control panel. And it's let's see, hold on. It looks like a bullseye circle. That's what the screen record looks like. And you just push that and it'll count down 3, 2, 1. And then it'll start in the top left corner or top right corner, it'll say it'll be red and it'll say record or something. And it'll record literally what you see on your phone, the video and the sound and everything, if there is sound. And then when you're done, you just, swipe up again or swipe down, whatever, to get to your control panel. You hit that same button and it'll stop screen share or screen record. And then it'll go straight to your photos, and then you can edit from there. Like, so if, let's say you got something in the video that you don't want, you can always, edit it out or whatever. And so if it's a regular video, that's what I would do. If it's what she was talking about a minute ago, where it was like a 10-second or a 5-second little blurb of little capsules dancing or something, that's actually off of Instagram. And that's what I use. I use Instagram for my stories because they have more options for like the little, the GIFs or the little animated characters or the words or whatever. Like you can get a lot of those on Instagram. And basically just, without screen record or screen sharing, but you go onto Instagram, you hit the story button, and then you can upload a picture or a video that way. And you can share it to both your Facebook and Instagram at the same time, as long as you have them linked. And basically there is a button that you can push, and I can't remember, it looks like a square with like a smiley face in it, I believe. And that will give you the option to like type in something. You can like search Juice Plus or even Tower Gardens, and it'll give you animated pictures. And then so whenever you share them, and then the people share them in that social media group, it'll look like a video, but it's actually not. It's just a picture with that animated thing on it that makes it look like a video. So you don't have, you can either screen record it or you can just make it yourself. If you're familiar with Instagram. So hopefully that helps answer y'all's question.
So that's what everybody's doing on those like that purple video we just showed. They're doing a screen record.
I actually didn't see that. I had to hop off for a phone call. But
I was wondering, when you do a story, because the screen record is going to take a video,
right,
and it's going to put it in your pictures or your videos, then you're going to create a story and you're going to upload a video.
right.
So my question is, if Sharon found a way to download a video, if she saved that to her pictures, she'd be able to do the same thing.
Depending on how long that video is, yes.
Okay, correct.
Yeah, if it's longer than like 15 seconds maybe, or even 10 seconds, I can't remember. You may have to crop the video and then like crop it in sections, you know what I mean? So you can upload it in sections, because you can upload things up to 10 things at a time on Instagram, on your Instagram stories.
That's cool.
I was able to use that purple video for one of my Facebook posts, and I didn't do anything special. I think I just went to it and downloaded it.
Oh, okay. That's good. It's definitely something to play around with. Man, that group has a lot of great things. So does that group. You know, before I forget about the doctor stuff, I know that sometimes when it's tempting with a doctor to think like, oh my gosh, if I could get a doctor on my team, oh my gosh, could you imagine? Well, I think it's pretty unlikely you're going to roll into a doctor's office and just kind of like share the research and stuff. I think from what I've seen successfully that we've had success with, it's always like a deeper relationship than a normal doctor relationship. It's always like you become friendly with that doctor, you know? And so that's the point where you can, you know, like it's a doctor where you're talking about what goes on the weekend and how is your golf game and things like that, I think. And because they're just going to be a lot more likely to look at it. Otherwise, you're kind of like, imagine nowadays how many people think they have good information and they're going to the doctor. I mean, that's just the way life is now. And the doctors, like, they're busy. They're a professional. You know, they're not really looking for more materials to review. So I would work on, number one would be the relationship with the doctor. That's all I got to say about that.
Sometimes it just takes time and you vision.
Mm-hmm.
You know? You can add in a little bit of vision. What if your patients had this instead of this, you know, and giving them research as you go. So just thinking about what's a good next step and not expecting major results in just a quick conversation. Speaking of conversations, how did you guys do with the ditch the pitch? Anybody have any aha moments or sitting back realizing, oh my gosh, I interrupt people? Maybe that was just me. Or, you know, anything like that. Have you been better listeners since our Monday meeting? I talk too much. And congratulations, Jennifer, for being on our Facebook corporate site. That was exciting.
I don't know about everybody else, but I bought it, but I haven't really started it because it's only been a day.
Okay, so
I haven't started
I
it.
listened to the entire book on Audible and I really liked it. I think it's very practical. I like how he does the comparison to impromptu, like, what is that? What is improvisation? Because a lot of times we're in our head scripting what's the next thing to say and we're not really listening. So just being, I feel like he's just saying, be more natural, just be in conversation with people, kind of is where he's going with what he's sharing. And then be a good listener. And what was the other thing that really stood out to me? I don't know if Jennifer might mention. I see you came off of mute, Jennifer. You might say exactly what I'm thinking, but I just drew a blank.
Try to be a good listener and not interrupt.
Try not to interrupt.
I love how it's always about playing off what they're saying. And that kind of goes along with the, leadership training that I've been going through, where you're listening for the problems and then crafting a solution. That's why you can't go in with just pre-made scripts. It's just about what's in it for them. And you don't know that until you are able to dig down into what their problem is.
Okay, so today we're gonna listen to some more if you guys want to. How do you guys feel about that? Okay, so today it's about sizing up the scene. So what are some examples of some behind the scenes things that could be going on in people's lives and we have no idea? We see them on a daily basis or we just met them. What are some types of things that could be happening in their lives that might interfere or become something that's applicable in making decisions about the product or about the business? What are some things?
Job loss.
Nate.
Keep going. Job loss, anything else?
Your refrigerator and washer and dryer broke, and now they're looking at they have got to buy a bunch of appliances.
Yeah.
They had a recent death in the family or medical issues going on.
Their child has to run off the soccer field to take some puffs of an inhaler, or maybe the parent or someone has a wrap on their wrist from carpal tunnel, inflammation in the body.
Kids going through emotional or mental stress.
They don't like fruits and vegetables.
Somebody moved in.
True.
I mean, come on. Everybody's moving together now, so you're not expecting that one.
Right. What about who's behind the scenes in them making monetary decisions? Right.
Spouse.
The spouse won't agree. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And their decisions could be made whether they just got their income tax check or whether they're having to pay their income taxes, right? Like a big lump sum or something. Okay, so let's listen in on some things just to consider about what's behind the scenes. Let's see, I'm gonna go here. All right. It's called Sizing Up the Scene. And there's like 4 videos. Where are they? Hold on. Hello. There it is.
This week, we're focusing on ditch the pitch habit number 2, size up the scene. We will discuss how to interpret the information that you learned how to notice and gather with habit number 1, think input before output. Imagine you walk into a movie theater 10 minutes after the movie started. The first thing you got to do is catch up. You got to figure out what's going on in this film. Who's that character? What's he doing? Where are they? What's their relationship? Now, a similar thing is true with your customers. Just like with the movie, you are always walking into the middle of your customer's story. Your customer is not a blank slate waiting for you to show up. They're immersed in their thoughts about their hopes, their dreams, and their challenges. They're living their life, and you're walking right into the middle of it. In order to understand where your customer is coming from, you need to figure out what's going on in their life. You need to size up the scene. One of the people I interviewed for my book, Ditch the Pitch, is Alex Von Bitter. Alex is the co-owner and managing partner of the famous Four Seasons restaurant in New York. Alex described to me how important it is for a server approaching a new table to read the table, essentially to size up the scene. The server needs to understand, who are these people at the table? What are their relationships with each other? What situation are they in? Why did they come to the restaurant? Now, the same thing happens in your conversations with your customers, no matter what kind of business you're in, or no matter what kind of customers you have. What's going on in this person's life that is driving their purchase decisions? What about their personality will drive their decision-making process? What types of interactions will they be most comfortable with? There are 3 aspects to sizing up the scene that you want to focus on, and you'll learn about them with the 3 practices that will help you develop the habit, size up the scene. First, you want to focus on who your customer is, what makes them unique. Second, you want to understand what situation your customer finds herself in. What are the influences and influencers that will drive her decision making? And third, determine what kind of conversational style and dynamic will be most engaging for this customer. In the next 3 videos, I'm going to share some concrete tools that will help you practice sizing up the scene and prepare to improvise the right conversation for each customer.
Okay, so remember, we're trying to have more than just like transactional conversations. We're trying to bring conversations to a better height and just get better, you know, and this can all be applicable in all of our interactions through life, right? Okay. Oh gosh, where's the next video? Know who you're with. I think that's the one.
There are more than 7 billion people on planet Earth, and we're all unique. When you understand your customer as a unique human being, you are much better prepared to create a personally relevant conversational experience that interests and engages this customer. When you start a sales conversation, ask yourself, what makes the customer you are speaking with today special and unique? What's important to them? What drives them? How do they make decisions, and how do they approach their life? It's really tempting to focus on the raw data you can quickly learn about your customer, like how old they are, what their job is, where they live. And of course, this information is important. But these data points are useless without understanding who your customer is as a person. To understand who your customer really is, be curious and try to look below the surface. Look beyond the facts on their driver's license, their business card, or their resume. Seek to understand who they really are as a person. Understand the motivations, the passions, the interests, and the desires your customer has. Understand their personality characteristics and how those characteristics will affect the way they engage with you. The principle of the practice, know who you are with, is very clear. In a persuasive conversation, focus on who your customer is in addition to the facts you learn about them. When you understand who they are, you're going to be able to adjust your approach to the conversation and create a personally relevant, engaging experience for this customer. One way to practice this is to imagine what it is like to look at the world from your customer's point of view. If you were them, how would this situation look to you? Who we are colors our interpretation of the world around us. So by seeking to understand how your customer looks at the world, you're going to gain insights into who your customer truly is. As you size up the scene, you're still practicing input before output. Pay attention to who your customer is and take note of what you learn.
Okay. Let's see, we'll stop for a second. You guys have any aha moments that you want to share? Anything that really hit home on those 2 videos? I know Paula on Facebook said it could be us. Let's see. It could be us going through something. Thank you for this comment. Okay. So we've got some people on the restream and also on the replay, I'm sure, later. But anyway, it could be, you know, a team member going through something. There's a lot people are going through right now. So you just want to be careful, right? In your conversations. Anything like an aha moment on those 2 videos?
Hey, Sharon, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm driving, so we're out in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico. So I just wanted to say that, you know, when people say they don't want to be a salesman, they often say like a used car salesman, right?
Yeah.
So then when you really boil down, okay, what about a used car salesman don't you like? And a lot of times it's the feeling that the guy's just trying to sell you something, maybe that makes a better commission for him, but it's not really what you want, or it may not be the best fit for you. And so if you're just going into conversations and you're not sizing up the situation, like, is this really the best time to get into a Juice Plus discussion? Is their heart and mind in a place where they're open and ready to listen to this? Is it some information they're even seeking? You know, without answering those questions as you're approaching the conversation, if you don't really know where they stand because you haven't asked questions and you're just not paying attention to the surroundings, if you're trying to get your words in before, you know, and they're distracted, they're looking off to the side, like they're just not able to engage, you're going to be way less effective, and you're going to feel like that salesman to them, that you're not really paying attention to them, that you've got an agenda that you want to get off and across as fast as you can versus really wanting to help them. So oftentimes just think about what you don't like in a salesperson, and then how do you counter that? How do you be opposite of that?
Great. Thank you, Stacy.
Hey, Sharon, I'd like to add on. I'm happy that Stacy kind of prefaced that for us, because interesting enough, with maybe something's going on with your team member, just recently for me, I had a team member added under one of my teammates who all throughout the whole time she was there, I tried to do a three-way call or get involved with her. And it seemed like we'd touch base here and there, but then it would fall off to the side. Her husband died of COVID last year.
Oh.
And it was like not the right time ever to follow up or do anything. So we kind of let that be. And so her membership lapsed. But obviously, again, building the relationships and caring for the person on the side outside of the business is so critical. Well, when was it? 2 days ago, she reached out to me because she was like, my sister might be interested in the Tower Garden, and I don't know if I'm still an active member. And I just didn't pick up the phone and just call her. I wasn't going to do a texting communication with her. And I explained to her, look, your membership lapsed, but I want to make sure that this time when you decide to join our mission, that you're truly ready to do it. So let's send you as many resources as you need for that Tower Garden possible sale. And I can be there to do a three-way call and everything. And if we see that it moves forward, then, we can talk about renewing your business. And I found myself also, being like, I'm sorry, I didn't find a right way to touch base with you, because she was a friend of a friend. So it's an awkward situation. But yeah, just considering what's happening even in our teammates' lives and how to just continue building that relationship aspect will still potentially lead to growth in your own business still. There's and establish relationships with. Now she's gaining trust because she knows I'm not just trying to add numbers. I want you to truly seek value in the business and make it work for you rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, Sharon, I just wanted to add on really quick to what actually both of her, Alicia and Stacy said, but I have also found that it's been really helpful to ask, is this a good time for me? I would love to share, what I'm doing, or you mentioned X, Y, and Z, and that really just made me think of what I do. And I don't know if I've ever shared that with you. Would now be a good time kind of thing, just ask, because sometimes I don't know, it is an awkward maybe situation, or I get so excited. I have in the past found myself getting so excited that I just word vomit all over the place, but I've tried to remember to take a breath and let me ask first, because sometimes it's just not the right time. And they will say, actually, no, right now is not a good time because of whatever, or, oh, but can we talk X day later, or whatever. And so that way it's actually helpful, because then I can actually set an appointment if not, so, but it's honoring my time and theirs. So I thought that was really helpful.
Absolutely. Anybody else? You guys are awesome. I love listening to you. Okay, so let's go to the next video. Hold on. All right, so that was know who you're with. Understand the context of the conversation, of your conversation. Here we go.
Let's imagine a young couple with a toddler coming into a car dealership looking to buy a van. The salesperson might jump to the conclusion that the reason this couple needs a van is because they have a growing family. But by making this assumption, he might miss that she's a ceramics artist, and the reason she needs a van is she's got all these beautiful vases and bowls that she needs to take to stores that sell them for her. Or maybe this couple has a rock band, and the reason they need a van, they got to carry his keyboards and her drum set. Similar to the practice, know who you're with, the practice, understand the context of your conversation, encourages you to look beyond the situation you see to understand the context of your customer's situation. Your job is to be curious and to be perceptive so you can glean important knowledge about your customer's backstory. Your customer isn't making their decisions in a vacuum. There are influences and influencers in their life that will affect how they engage with you and whether they decide to do business with you or continue doing business with you. Understanding the context of your customer's situation will affect your conversational approach with each unique customer. Let's imagine this same couple wants to buy a home. A good real estate professional seeking to understand the context would discern their decisions are going to be based on finding a home with room for a ceramic studio, or maybe a home that's far enough away from the neighbors for those late night jam sessions. When you understand the context of your customer's situation, you will craft an approach much more personally relevant for your customer. To understand the context of the conversation, I like to think about what a customer's influences and influencers are. Again, imagine what it's like to look at the world from your customer's perspective. If you were them, who and what will influence your decision making? What are the different factors that affect how your customer thinks and what actions they're going to take? When you combine this with the previous practice, know who you are with, you'll get valuable information to help you size up the scene.
I love that. Okay, let's see. Here we go.
I think, are we allowed to have comments now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, you're running the show here, baby. Okay, so I think it's cool the way if you're sizing up the scene and understanding the context and learning who people are, you're not only just kind of getting to know them before the sale, but in my opinion, you're kind of getting to know whether or not you're going to end up sharing product or business. I see a lot of people bringing on, like some people I know share like the business with everybody, and then they'll end up with like almost everybody's like a team member. And then all of a sudden, if they're not active, they're not managing even their own orders, or God forbid they have other orders under them. It can be a real hassle, I guess. So I just think it's good to get to know people and you see if it's going to be a good fit for them or not.
Great.
Or if you want to work with them.
I like the way it just kind of makes you relax in the conversation. Just dig deeper, be curious, you know, relax while you listen and try to just see who they are and the context of their lives, you know. Alma, you were saying something?
Oh, yeah, I was just agreeing with Doug. I was just during these two, excuse me, while hearing these two videos, I was really able to kind of get, well, I would just want to share my experience because I was just thinking on my point of view with Janie Hawkins, when she introduced me to Juice Plus, I actually was working at a Mind Eye doctor's office, and Janie was actually a patient and her family were patients of ours. And I forgot how we got into the conversation, but Janie, so sweet, so soft-spoken, so natural, like just how she speaks to people. And I forgot what we were speaking of, but she introduced Juice Plus to me. And I'm all for like health, anything having to do with having a healthy mind, body, soul, especially I have a 6-year-old who I want to approach with the right lifestyle for him. And so as we were speaking, she's introducing Juice Plus to me, and she actually had samples with her. And it's just so funny how the right time was. We just happened to have some downtime, and we were trying out the samples, and I was blown away, like just by the information she was giving me and just telling me how natural it was, and just tasting it right then and there and speaking about it. And so later on, it's just so crazy because at that moment I had just dropped down part-time at my job because unfortunately my son's school was closed due to COVID. And so it was actually like a week or two before I was going to leave my job temporarily. And it's just so funny how Janie came out of nowhere speaking about Juice Plus, and then we kept in contact, and just every so often she would just see how I was doing, and she would just continue to approach, you know, her stories and just sharing her little things here and there about her day, and including Juice Plus into it. And just by her keeping up with me and just seeing how I was doing, I not only became a customer, but then I also became, you know, part of the team later on, because she was just so empathetic into knowing my story or knowing what I was going through, you know, single mom, and just leaving my job and trying to make ends meet. And it's so true. You just know how to speak with someone, just knowing what they're going through, knowing their side of things in life. And it just comes out so naturally. And I just have to applaud to Janie on that, because she wasn't pushy. She wasn't like demanding. She wasn't even trying to sell me anything. She was just naturally speaking about Juice Plus and how it helped her and benefit her boys. And it's just a conversation, the connection you have with someone. It comes out also naturally.
I'm so glad you shared that. That is so perfect. So she wasn't a slimy salesperson. She didn't have quick answers, quick presentation for you, all the right words, and took her time, built that relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. And she cared, and you felt a connection, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, great experience. And I'm here now.
Awesome.
This awesome team.
It just comes naturally to people. But some of it is we just have to have it as a reminder, right? So that we're just paying attention. All right, let's see. This one is titled a little strange, in my opinion. Listen for the game. Okay. So hold on.
Here's something that has happened to every one of us. You meet somebody at a social event and you have a wonderful, engaging conversation with this person. You might talk about your kids, or you might talk about your work. The conversation might have a serious tone, or it might have a more fun and whimsical tone. Maybe it's a slow, deliberate, and thoughtful conversation, or it could be fast-paced and energetic. Whatever dynamic emerges in the first few minutes of a conversation informs how you'll approach the rest of the interaction. Now, of course, this isn't something you decide ahead of time. You don't walk up to a stranger and say, "Hey, nice to meet you. Let's have a fast-paced conversation." Instead, you start talking, and you begin to observe the other person's conversational style. You notice the pace that's most comfortable for them, discern how much they want to lead the conversation, and understand how deep they're willing to get. You pick up on cues about what kind of conversation will be most engaging for this person, and you recognize the conversational dynamic that emerges. I call this listening for the game. It's a really natural thing that humans do. When we speak with another person, we listen to the conversational dynamic and merge our conversational styles together to enhance the quality of our communication. Practice listening for the game in conversations with your customers. Notice the patterns that emerge in your conversation so you can determine the conversational style that will be most engaging to this customer. Along with our practices of knowing who you are with and understanding the context of your conversation, listening for the game will allow you to size up the scene so you can effectively engage your customers.
Okay, so let's
Is
hear.
anybody getting that? Explain. If anybody understands that, explain. I need more.
I can add when training about building rapport, we've got tone, physiology, and words. So to get in the game, you have to play the game at the pace that your consumer or your customer or prospect is playing it in. So even as you're hearing how they speak, like if the person's like, I'm really excited about learning about Juice Plus, blah, 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 and you're like, yeah, I can share. And you're going to lose rapport right off the bat. If you're talking really loud and they're very quiet, you lose rapport. There's a whole, it's like really engaging in those three aspects of communication that'll allow you to know how to play the game with them.
Okay.
It's a game of rapport.
So even like, so for me, like I love to joke around and stuff, but if somebody's really serious, I'm not going to break into like joshing around with them. But if they're a funny person, we're going to be telling jokes and messing around.
Exactly. And you're going to follow their lead.
Okay.
Because even throughout the communication, they probably started very serious, but now they're starting to chuckle a little. So then you chuckle a little. And even the way they stand or the way they sit, they cross your leg and you cross their leg. If they take a sip of water and you take a sip of water, naturally, without obviously telling them, oh, I'm copying you, but it's called modeling. And then it just makes the person feel more and more comfortable with you.
So I had an experience today that I wanted to share with you. I have a friend that I have met through tennis, and we've been taking tennis lessons and playing together. And she is married to a doctor in town. And I recently found out she is a nurse, and that's how they met. So I haven't brought Juice Plus up to her at all. She knows that I thought she knew that I was in the Juice Plus business, but I don't know that she's really that I was ready to talk to her about it. But a couple of days ago, she mentioned that her daughter was getting pretty bad acne, and she had tried everything, and she finally resorted to one of the really harmful brands that that gives you dry skin, dries your skin out, and it's chemicals and it has harmful side effects. And I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna just introduce it into the conversation today. And so I said, hey, Tracy, do you mind if I send you some information? I thought of you the other day. And she said, not at all. She said, oh, and by the way, I would love to know more about the Tower Gardens. Do you sell those? And so it kind of came around naturally to where it didn't feel forced. It just happened. And yet what I was going to send her was the Dr. David Phillips presentation and wanted to get her thoughts on it. I know you don't need this, but what do you think, sort of thing. But then when she talked about her daughter and her skin problems, that kind of was a way for me to suggest maybe sending her another video. Maybe look into it. It could help your daughter with her skin issues. So it was one of those things that I just assumed that she knew what I did. And I didn't want to force anything on her. I didn't want her to feel like, oh no, here's Kristen who sells Juice Plus, and now she's gonna, introduce it to me and want me to be to get on it. I didn't want her to feel like that at all, but in a way it kind of just happened naturally. So we'll see what happens.
Why were you gonna feel that way about her? Why did you have that response in your mind?
That's a good question. I wonder that myself. I never want anyone to feel like I'm forcing the conversation about Juice Plus, because it goes along with the, I assume that people know what I do. And I assumed that they would, if they were interested, they would come to me, but that's not, that this is a great lesson for me, because it's not necessarily how they feel. And oftentimes they don't, they're not aware that that's what I do. And I think we realize that it is more helpful to people than it's not like we're trying to sell anything. We're trying to help people. So this was a good lesson for me today, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But it also came about naturally in the conversation. So, you know, I mean, it like I think it comes from me trying, you know, telling people over the years they should really try this. What's it going to hurt just to try it? You don't like it, you don't have to stay on it. But for her, what resonated with me with the Dr. Phillips talk was that doctors and nurses people in the medical profession don't necessarily learn about nutrition. It's not, it may be like a very small percentage of the training that they go through. So, so that's kind of where I was going to approach her from that angle. So, but it ended up happening that I didn't necessarily need to, because there was another reason to introduce it.
I'll just say, Kristen, that people in the medical profession, they're just people too. They're just people too. So don't be presumptuous about what they may think. And, you know, the book that helps me, and I need help with that a lot, is the 4 agreements. And this one agreement, it says if you do this one agreement, that with just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. And that one agreement is don't make assumptions. just, and I have to keep that in my head, because I can do that for sure. And I'm married to a medical professional, but I can do that when I'm around other people. And so, but I mean, tennis, you had me at tennis, okay?
I think it was because she just seemed so knowledgeable about things that she was one of the hard ones for me to approach and to get beyond her. She was one of those that seemed to have it all together, and I didn't want to feel pushy, but yet I was waiting for the right time to make the introduction to the business or the Juice Plus product. So it just happened organically.
Kristen, I love that. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but I know I've mentioned a few times that, you know, I was doing health fairs because, you know, I just thought, okay, I've posted so much about Juice Plus and I've talked to so many people, they certainly must know that I do Juice Plus. And if they wanted it, they would have come to me. And I just had that, you know, in my head. And then when COVID shut all the health fairs down and I started people don't even know what Juice Plus is. I have people that still think it's a juice. I have people that thought it was Herbalife. I'm like, really? Because it's called Juice Plus. So I don't know.
I know we're going to be landing the plane here, Sharon, but what I'm finding interesting is listening to this, writing notes, but then realizing that it's not just for prospects and stuff. This is, think about all of your team members. You know how we have team members that aren't very engaged? You know, we typically see the same people on here, and then we might reach out and say, hey, we got a lunch and learn. But then maybe we should know the context of what's going on. What are they going through? What's in their lives? You know, picking up on cues from them. Yeah, and even new people, you know, like as we bring new people, like understanding where they're at, how fast they can go, how much communication do they want? How much is too much? At what point are they going to feel pushed, or are we not giving them enough? You know, so I think it's really cool to increase our awareness and be more cognizant of like conversations from the outside looking in and controlling them a little more.
Right.
Very good stuff.
Watching for cues.
We didn't hear that, Sharon. What?
Watching for cues, you know,
Yeah.
from people and being curious.
I'll say that based off of what Doug said, it's making me very selective on who I add to my team moving forward. Because and so I feel like it's like a catch-22. Sometimes you're so excited about the opportunity and you express it with so much high energy that I think it's just naturally contagious for people to be like, well, I want to do what you're doing. But then when you invite them to the lunch and learns and say, let's have a family call or through a call, they're like, oh, I can't right now, or oh, I'm too busy, or this and that. And it becomes very frustrating. So it's almost like and tell me if that approach is wrong. I'm almost like going to interview the people that I'm going to hire to work with me. Is that a wrong approach? But I feel like I need to, because I don't just want to add people for the sake of adding people. I want value in my team. I'm ready to step my game up 10 notches, and people that somewhat think they want to do this is not good enough for me. Am I being too harsh? Like, anyone else share this pain?
Yeah, I think you have to be careful though, because you have to remember the Pareto principle, that the 80-20 rule. So that 80-20 rule is perfectly on display in all of our businesses. I guarantee you, those of you that have 10 team members, if you have 10, there's probably 2 that are engaged and 10 that are just kind of around. But don't forget that quite a bit of your PVC volume is coming from those 8 people. So then when you get to, like, let's say we have about 900, let's round up to 1,000. We probably have like 200, which is about right, people, because when at conference we'll have 100 and something at an awards dinner, right? So I think, or even here, you know, I just think you don't want to eliminate people, but I totally agree with what you're saying, Alicia. I think at a newer level, I'd be more inclined to sign up whoever I could sign up. I don't know if this makes sense. Sharon, correct me if you think I'm wrong on this. But maybe you can afford to be a little more picky as you go along, and you kind of because you also understand at maybe a deeper level, identifying these success traits, you know, being hungry and teachable. So I like to form the opinion based on, well, Gabby is a great example. She's on here. I met her at the dog park, and then brought Sharon to meet her too. She's very conversational and engaging, right? So, that's good. She's interested in having like a side job. She's teachable, very teachable. I mean, the chess game is on and popping. It's like, we make a move, she makes a move. We make a move, she makes a move. So I think when the people have those success qualities, then I'm all for moving forward. I do disagree with just signing people up because, hey, I got a new team member. Well, they don't even have their own order. They never do order. You know, it's like, it's a nightmare sometimes.
Hey, really quick, I wanted to kind of like piggyback off of what both of you said really quick. Just something food for thought. Something that's really helped me lately is I've had both of those issues. Alicia, I totally feel your pain, by the way. And I've been on that same thought process for a while too. But something recently that just kind of made me take a step back was understanding that I think it had a lot to do with once I went through the health coaching certification, is really just like getting back to my why. Like, why am I doing this? Like, because, you know, sometimes it's really frustrating. You sign somebody up and they're so excited, and then it's like crickets, you know, and it's like, well, what did you sign up for? But at the same time, you know, it goes with that emotional intelligence and meeting somebody where they're at, and then understanding the noise that they have in their life, and just, you know, all of the things kind of combined into one. But also checking ourselves too, and understanding like, well, did we make sure that we made sure that they understood what they're signing up for? Do they even realize and understand fully what Juice Plus is? Because I can't tell you how many countless times where, I mean, it's like the exposure thing. You have to expose somebody how many times before they order, right? Well, it's kind of, I feel like in my experience, it goes to the same extent of how many times you have to expose somebody to Juice Plus even after they order to fully make sure that they know what it is. Because I mean, I've had customers for, you know, a year, 2 years now, they still call it vitamins. And I'm like, dude, it's not a vitamin. It's, you know, it's like, so, you know, it lets me know, like, I need to send them some more exposures maybe, or educate them a little bit deeper, just so they can understand nutrition as a whole a little bit better as well. And it's not about just the product, you know? So anyway, that's something that's just kind of really helped me get back to the basics of making sure they understand to the fullest extent of what it is, not just make sure you take your Juice Plus every day.
Love that. Thank you. It's not vitamins.
Okay, real quick, before you guys end this, I do want to add, so I'm almost 10 years in the business, and I will say some people do sign up and don't do anything, but you never know what may happen in like 6 months to a year where they just get life and they take off. So I wouldn't discount, you know, sometimes things happen, they sign up and life happens and they disappear, but you never know what's going to happen. So just keeping them engaged in the future.
So right here, people, I am like the perfect, either the worst example or the perfect example, because thank God that, you know, Barb didn't give up on me and Sharon didn't give up on me and Julie Herbst and Amy Getz, like, and everybody, because I treated this like a hobby for what, 8 years. And, you know, I have team members who were, you know, gung-ho in the beginning. And then I have one who just came back, Reese. She was didn't do anything for 8 years. And all of a sudden she's come back. So, and then the other thing I like to look at is I have a ton of those team members that, you know, don't get a lot of customers. They're not even moving forward to the next level. But guess what? They are like the perfect customers, because what happened is they went from fruits and vegetables to fruits, vegetables, berries, omegas. They've ordered a Tower Garden. Like now they're on everything. And I pretty much have like a lifetime customer, whereas I could have lost them if, you know, they didn't sign up. So I wouldn't discount those people, but if they're just going to order fruits and vegetables, I wouldn't do it. But if they have a bigger vision, like they want the discount for, you know, other products themselves, you just never know where it's going to lead.
All right, like Doug said, we can continue this conversation.
Yeah, it's like peeling an onion. We got a lot more to go on this. Let's pick it up on Friday.
Great conversation today.
Try to bring somebody back.
Yeah.
Bring a buddy.
Tonight is the One Simple Change. I'll be on there. Doug's going to be on there.
I'm on there? I made it on the ticket.
You're on the ticket.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be great. 8:30 tonight. So invite your guests. And then Friday night is our business chat, 8:30 Friday night. And you can invite, you know, potential team members. And then Saturday's the Branson Boot Camp that we're going to stream. We'll be on here and Facebook group. And if you're local, we're having a Tower Garden open house at the same time. So
tomorrow night, Thursday night, is Lonnie and Sandy, and I'm just doing the Zoom for Nutrition Detectives and Healthy Starts at Home.
Good. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So consult the Voxer or the Facebook group or ask us later. All right. See you guys Friday. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.